our speaker, Peter Wall, the CEO and the founder of Mälarplast, will talk about the challenges that the plastic industry faces. They're going from fossil fuel to bioplastics, but he takes it even further. For him, it's circularity that are the key solution. And we agree with him. So please listen to his speech and his focus on creating circular loops for plastics.
All right, thank you very much for having me on board here. And we're now focusing down to a more concrete and more down to earth kind of solution instead of looking at the global perspective. So we need all of these factors in to really understand what we're looking at. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how we are working with circularity in a plastics converting company like Mälarplast. And as you can see, we claim to be the greenest plastics company in Sweden. So I will come back to you a little bit on all the things that we do, and then maybe you can decide whether or not you agree with me or not. All right, first a little bit about my background. My name is Peter Wall, as I said before. I was born in '72. I have a master's degree in engineering and management from the Royal Institute of Technology, living in Eskilstuna with a wife and 2 kids. And I'm the owner and CEO of the Wallent group, including Mälarplast and Roltex, which I will come back to. I'm also the chairman of the second largest savings bank in Sweden, Sparbanken Mälardalen. Vice chairman and shareholder of Smedhälsangruppen, and I'm also the former chairman of SPIF, the Swedish Plastics Industry Association. So I have quite a long background within the plastics industry in Sweden. All right, so what's the Wallent Group? It's a family-owned holding company with 2 major industry groups, one being Mälarplast and the second one being Roltex. I will come back to those a little later. But as you can see, it's a fairly small company, 150 million in turnover, production sites in Sweden and Belgium. We have around 60 employees in total. So we're slightly smaller than Ragn-Sells. And the group is owned and run by me as a CEO. All right, so what does Mälarplast do? Well, to be fair, we're an injection molder. We have injection molding machines producing plastic parts, but we also say that we're a complete partner for environmental and customized plastic solutions. So we offer turnkey solutions to our customers to help them from the idea to the design, prototype, tooling, and full-scale production. Both for small and large plastic products. And one of the keys here is the environmental aspect that we always put into our products that we do together with our customers. The Roltex Group, this is an old company in Sweden. It was founded already in 1921, making pots and pans out of aluminum. We've transformed this into a full-scale supplier of kitchenware, mainly in plastics, within the past 15, 20 years. We've also added the Belgian company Roltex, and that's why the group nowadays is called Roltex. And they have been producing trays from laminates and from SMC, which is a thermoset, since around 60 years back. So now it's one group offering kitchenware throughout on the global scale. Here are a couple of examples of products that we make. Trays, tableware, drinkware, kitchen and buffets. And the last example that I'm going to move forward to now, our green loop system, has a big impact on why we merge these 2 different types of companies together and how we can work together on finding circular solutions. Some examples of our clients, just so that you understand a little bit what we do. We move from everything from large international corporations like ABB and Saab, Hitachi, to small innovative companies like a Good Group. We produce, amongst other things, phone cases for them. We're actually the largest European phone case producer at the moment, and also definitely the largest Swedish one. So we can actually compete with the Chinese on this. All right, so how come I claim we're the greenest Swedish plastics company then? Well, first of all, we do a lot of things that a lot of the plastics company do, and a lot of the Swedish industrial companies do. We work on energy efficient production. We work on internal recycling of our materials, waste, both and heat. We do a lot of energy saving investments and activities. And then we come to a couple of things that makes us stick out a little bit, and that's that we have solar energy. We have our own solar panels on the entire factory plant. And we also have battery storage to be able to use this as efficient as possible. Still, there are some other Swedish plastics companies that do this. Okay, but what do we do that's a little extra? Well, we try to move on with the transition into more bioplastics companies and regenerated plastics. And I think globally, I've heard a number of around 1% being bioplastics. We converted in 2024 43% bioplastics. And our target is now set for 75% within 3 years. So this is where we're moving in that direction. So now we also want to circulate, on the other hand. So that's the last point in this. And it's that we try to develop different types of business models to support a circular economy. And one of them being the green loop system, which I will return to shortly. Of course, scientific-based targets very good. So we want to measure our climate goals. We did measure our CO2 footprint in the last time we did a full footprint was in 2023 for our total use. We actually emitted 4.7 kilos of CO2 cradle to gate per produced plastic article. So we're actually emitting 4.7 kilos of CO2 for 1 kilo of plastic part. Doesn't sound too good, does it? Well, that's how it looks, and we're still pretty good. But looking also, what can we do to reduce this? Of course, we should tackle our own footprint internally at Mälarplast. And that is 1.73 and 0.56. Those are the ones that are our internal contributions to this footprint. The big one, the 3.41, the green, that comes from the raw material itself. So if we can switch to regenerated plastics and bioproduced plastics, that can basically reduce that number down to very close to zero. A lot of the bioplastics actually have a negative footprint already. So we have a good chance of reducing this significantly, and we focus mostly on the green part here. All right, a couple of examples of products. I told you we make phone cases. It says no plastic, which is not true. They are plastic, but they are plant-based. And we're also producing in regenerated PCR plastics to make phone cases for a good company. We also produce waste containers. This is a fairly new product. We're working together with a company called Frostpharma, and also together with the Swedish company Wood Composite Sweden, which is a former Stora Enso, that makes different types of plastics combined with wood fibers. And this is what we put in the waste containers. So what Frostpharma offers the medical sector now is it's not a waste container, it's a simple way of reducing their carbon footprint. This is the third largest plastics polluter in the medical sector today. By switching to the biocomposites waste containers from Frostpharma and Mälarplast, they can reduce the footprint by 67%. So it's a very simple way of doing it. You just take the old ones out and buy these ones instead. They're a little more expensive though, that's the problem. But there's always solutions for everything, right? So you have to work on it. All right, a couple of examples. So what else can we do? We want to move circular. And this is the main topic, I think, for what I'm going to want to address today. And this is, we notice there's a challenge, of course. There's so much material waste. That's what we've been hearing this earlier today from the other two speakers. So we looked at one thing that we were actually working on, we looked at the school canteens in Sweden. There are 16,000 schools and kitchens that offer food for around 2 million children every day that eat in schools. All right, most of them eat on porcelain plates, and you might think that this is a very good solution, right? It's safe and it's traditional, but it only has a lifespan of 1 to 2 years, and then these porcelain plates will probably end up in a landfill. So it's very linear and very short time use. So why not use a plastic plate? So we were producing plastic plates. They have a lifespan of 4 to 5 years, 3 times as long. 3 times as long. But at the end of life, the plastic plate went on to incineration. Yes, energy recovery maybe, energy production, but it was still linear. So we were thinking, oh, this plastic material, even after 4 or 5 years of use, is still very good. Can't we reuse it somehow? And not just to produce some type of low-life plastic part that could be used for anything. Can't we remake it into a plate instead, a green loop plate? Then the lifespan would be 4 to 5 years, and instead, at the end of life, we would recirculate the material into new plates. All right, sounds easy. So we created the green loop system. Basically a model where you reuse the product many times in your operations, and then at the end of life you bring it back and we recirculate the material into similar products again. So basically we're transforming the model. We started out with offering a lease solution. That was a little tough because when the buyers buy a plate, they're not used to buying a solution, they're used to buying the actual product itself. So we decided also to switch this and to start offering it as a you can buy a plate, but you can also, including in the buy, you can return your old plates to us so we can recirculate it. But what we had to do then was to make sure that this was safe. So we had to do a lot of tests. So we tested the properties of the material, actually at 100% recycling. And we did it 7 times, and every time we tested the migration limits to make sure that it was safe for food contact. And then we sent in an application to EFSA to see, all right, can we get this approved? Because it's not allowed to use recycled material in food contact applications, because it's a risk. So we worked with EFSA for 3 years on our application, and at the end they said, this is safe enough. You have a closed loop system, controlled environment, and you showed that the material is actually safe for food contact to use up to 7 times. Say, okay, great, so can we start doing this then? No, you won't get a permit. Okay, we'll change the directive. So they actually changed the directive, adding this closed loop system, the exact process that we were describing, and they made a modified directive in September 2022. So after that, we can get the approval from the Swedish Livsmedelssäkerheten to start doing this. So we've been operational since somewhere around then, offering this product to the market. So as I said again, legislation did not permit recycled materials. It doesn't permit recycled materials in products. So we had to counteract that by actually changing the EU legislation. It changed also the procurement method a little bit, especially in the beginning when we wanted the buyers to go from buying products to subscribing into something to eat from, so to a service instead. Now we're offering both solutions, makes it a little easier to get it out on the market. But it's also very difficult to get the message across that a circular plastic product is actually better for the environment than, for example, a porcelain plate, which everybody thinks is the safest and the best way because it's traditional, or glass. Plastic, as you all know, is something that you throw away immediately, right? It's cheap. But in this case, it's actually also the most environmentally beneficial. And there are many different decision makers on this, especially when it comes to politicians. They always have to go for the simple solution and the one-liners, right? And then everybody knows that plastic is poisonous, plastic is not good for the environment. So it's the easy way, the easy choice to buy a porcelain plate instead of a plastic plate. So it takes a little while to push through all the noise and all the decision makers to end up in the right position. But anyway, now we have the EFSA approval, we have REACH approvals, of course, and livsmedelssäkerheten also approving the system. So we've also worked on making sure that we really have good theoretical backgrounds also on that, so we can show that this recycling scheme is also beneficial in terms of a CO2 footprint and, of course, material usage. So we can show that plastic plate compared to porcelain plate, for example, has more than it's better than 80% in savings of CO2 footprint compared to porcelain plate. So we've taken measures to have a third-party company, in this case Miljöchef, to investigate all the products. So just an example, if the green loop system would be used in all schools in Sweden, only in Sweden it would save around 1,000 tons of CO2. And we can add a lot more products to this. That's the next step. The green loop system enables circularity for plastic materials in contact with food. That's what it is. It's not just a plate. It's scalable to multiple products, categories like glassware, food trays, meal containers. We're actually working on a product with meal containers at the moment also. And we can go for different markets, a lot of markets throughout the EU and various customer segments. Restaurants, the travel sector, if we go for airlines, for example, that's also a very closed loop system that we can use. So looking at the EU now, they're introducing bans on single-use products for food service. Usually they point the finger at plastics, but why use a paper cup when you can use a circular plastic cup that can be used many times and then the material being recirculated again? So the green loop system actually takes the roadable system a step further by offering circularity also for the materials themselves, where we actually help to close the loop. All right.
When we spoke before, I was really touched by exactly your dedication to drive the change, because I know the problem to convince European Union. So I understand that you invest a lot of money and you're still just now reaching the market.
Yes.
So I don't think that the listed company would have done this.
Probably not. You have to have you have to be a little crazy, I guess. We're spending a lot of time, a lot of effort on it. But on the other hand, I think that it's also a possibility for us to find sound business opportunities by focusing on this area, because we're pretty much alone in this area at the moment. So I think in the long run, I'm pretty sure it's going to be also financially and business-wise sound for Mälarplast and my company. But of course, at the moment, we've been investing quite a lot of time and effort on it.
You have a great story, and I will make sure that I retell the story for many people when I'm in Brussels, and I'm there every 2 weeks. So I promise you. We'll come back during the panel discussion to have some more questions to you. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much.